guys, how's it going today? Name's Chelsea here, and they have a big book haul. Okay, these are ones that I've collected over the past month or two. Most of them I've gotten recently, like really cheap. I do a lot of thrifting. I barely ever buy books brand new just because I am on a budget right now. So when I buy books, typically I get them used. These most recently, and it's only stuff that I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like. I don't just go out and buy whatever I hear people talking about unless I think I'm going to like it. Yeah, I'm excited to show you all of the books I've gotten. First, I'm gonna start off with the ARCs. I have quite a few here, and I've already shown these in previous videos, but I wanted to show you again. And some of these will be new that you've never seen before from me. Let's see, I have Chop Shop from Andrew Post, which is an ARC that I requested from Flame Tree Press. I am almost finished with this one. It is The Dark Game by Jonathan Janz, also from Flame Tree Press. And Second Lives by P.D. Kasek, and it's also from Flame Tree Press. These are all ARCs, so I have not finished reading them yet, and I'm going to review them once I do. This one is about a gangstery type group who sells body parts on the black market. So it's supposed to be like a crime, and I also hear that it's pretty funny, so I'm excited to read this. I think it's going to be a good time. This one is a book about a group of authors who were asked to come to this big mansion and be trained by this world-renowned author. Whoever is the last to be at the house through this, whatever he makes them do, ends up supposedly is going to be winning all this money and all this recognition and everything. So I'm really enjoying this one so far. I can't wait to give you a full review here. I'm going to make a special video for each of the ARCs that I received because I did request them. I'm really enjoying this one so far. And then this last one I got is Second Lives by, like I said, P.D. Kasek. This one is about a group of people who died, and apparently someone or something has inhabited their bodies and come back to life. And so these new people in these old bodies are trying to figure out how to live and everything. So that's pretty much all I know. Look at that beautiful cover. I love it. My neighbors are fighting, so sorry if you can hear that. Then I have a giveaway win that I got from Goodreads called How to Make Friends with the Dark. I've heard a lot about this book and the author, but I've never read anything that she's written. She also wrote Girl in Pieces, which I've heard is really good. From what I gather from reading the synopsis, a girl's mother dies and she's in a dark place and she's trying to figure out how to deal with this and how to live day to day just like any other day, and how she's coping with it. And she's scared of the dark, so she's trying to learn how to live and make friends with the dark, and pretty much just like her dealing with that loss and how to overcome it for herself. So I love this cover. That's one of the reasons why I entered the giveaway, because it's just so beautiful. Like I don't think the camera does it justice, but it's like a pretty blue, navy blue into like a dark purple, violet. It's just aesthetically beautiful. Like I love the illustrative nature of the hair. Like, oh, it's so pretty. I can't wait to read this as well. It's also an ARC, as you can see, so I'm going to be reading this and reviewing it. I can't wait. Okay, these first three I got from a giveaway on Instagram. I enter a lot of giveaways. They were from, I'll be sure to put his handle here and also his page in the description below. You can follow him. He has lots of cool giveaways. He posts lots of really beautiful horror paperback covers. Like, oh my gosh, he has some of the prettiest books I've ever seen. And I won a giveaway where I got Pet Sematary by Stephen King, and it's a beautiful edition. I love it. It's got a little bit of damage to it, but it's because it's old. It has some nice spine breakage there. I love old books. I love new books. I just love books. The most frightening book Stephen King has ever written, and I know that movie remake just came out like today, I think, in the theaters. So I'm excited to eventually get to see that. I love the original movie back in the day, so I'm excited to finally have this, and one day I will actually read it. I have Clive Barker, The Damnation Game. I've never heard of this, but it's like pretty much brand new, and it's just a nice little paperback horror book. I have no idea what this is about. I just know it's a horror. Now, last of my paperbacks is Richard Bachman, which if you don't know, that is Stephen King's other pen name. It's called The Regulators. It has this really interesting cover of like a cowboy hat with wheels. Or it's a phone. It's on a phone. No idea what that imagery is about, but I've heard of this book before and it seems interesting. There's a place in Wentworth, Ohio where summer is in full swing. It's called Poplar Street. Up until now, it's been a nice place to live. The idling red van around the corner is about to change all that. Oh, okay. He has a bunch of other books that he published as Bachman. You can see the cover of that one on the back. Then I have this Lisa Gardner book that I paid 25 cents for at a thrift store. It has some spine breakage here, but it's otherwise in really good condition. Nothing wrong with it. There's a little bit of peelage there, but it's called The Survivors Club. Sorry, I'm coughing like crazy. It has this really cool photograph image of a person in a house on the front. I thought that looked really intriguing, and I like Lisa Gardner. I have a few of her paperback books, hardcover books that I plan on reading eventually. 25 cents. You can't beat it for someone that you already know you like. Then I have a Karen Slaughter paperback that I got at another thrift store for 50 cents. It is called Blindsided, and I'm pretty sure it's part of a series, and I've been slowly but surely collecting Karen Slaughter's series books because a while back I made the mistake of buying like 2 books of hers that were in a series, so I hadn't read the first one. So now I've been just collecting Karen Slaughter books, so this is one of those. It's got this really cool illustration of a diner on the front, and people really like Karen Slaughter, but I have yet to read any of her books. I just own a lot of them, so I hope that I like her. Let me know if you like her in the comments. I want to know if I'm like jumping into something that I'm gonna hate or if I'm actually gonna really love her work. Water! And now I have the rest of my paperbacks, if I'm not mistaken. I have this novel that I got for 25 cents at a Salvation Army called Unspeakable by Sandra Brown. From what I gather, it's about a psychopath who escaped a penitentiary, and he's going out for revenge. So I think that'll be really interesting. It's got that nice little author portrait on the front. I always think author portraits are really funny. But originally this was like $15, so I got it for 25 cents. And it's in really good condition. Nothing wrong with it. Hope I like it. I've never read anything she's written, but I was like, I'll give it a shot someday. Next I have Just Between Us by Rebecca Drake. I've never read this author either. This was kind of another 25 cent just gamble. I felt like buying a book that day just to make myself feel better. It says fans of Lane Moriarty and B.A. Paris are going to love this one. So I think I'll like it because I tend to like stuff by them. I think it's about a group of women friends who one of them is being abused by her husband, and they're trying to figure out a way for her to leave her husband, and then that friend dies. That'll be interesting. I guess they're trying to figure out what happened and get him in trouble for it or whatever, but it's suspense, so I'm kind of just gambling with these little 25 cent these 25 cent books. I just kind of pick them up. Okay, next I have another Lisa Gardner book called Find Her, and it's a little bit bigger than usual. A novel that should not be missed. It says on the back, 7 years ago, carefree college student Flora was kidnapped while on spring break for 472 days. Flora learned just how much one person can endure. So I'm guessing it's gonna have some torture in it. Also, it has a quote on the back from Karen Slaughter. And I already like Lisa Gardner, so I'm sure this is going to be a decent book. I can't remember what I paid for it, but I'm guessing it was around $1. I think I got this at our library book sale, and they usually sell paperbacks for $1, so pretty good deals. Next I have one of the most exciting books I ever picked up at a thrift store, and it's Beartown by Frederick Bachman. Next to it I saw this one by Frederick Bachman, which is My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. I've heard both of these are really, really good. This one I've heard a lot more craziness on BookTube about it, so I'm really excited to check this out. I know they're supposed to be really sad, but I've heard this one's really funny, and this one's a lot like more tear-jerking and just emotional. So I think I'm gonna read this one first when I get in the mood for it once I finish my arcs, and then eventually I'll get to this one. Also, I'm pretty sure this one has some very heavy trigger warnings, so if you're interested, be sure to look that up first. Also, I only paid $1 each for these guys. Sorry guys, I'm like having issues with my sinuses, so my throat's like really dry, so if it looks like I'm crying, it's because I am, because I'm coughing. Next, I found Final Girls by Riley Sagar. I've heard a lot about this author, and I'm really excited to read his books. I love the continuation of these little slash marks on his books. The first great thriller of 2017 is here, says Stephen King. Oh, I'm dying. I've heard a lot of really good things about Riley Sagar, so I'm really excited to give him a shot and see if I like this book. I have no idea what it's about. A lot of thrillers, I just hear about them and they sound interesting. I forget what they're about, but I remember I want it. So this is kind of one of those, I was just like, I knew I wanted it. I picked it up, didn't even read the description. I just remember wanting it, and it was only $1. It was only $2, so I picked it up, and no regrets. I'm excited to read it. It's in perfect condition. $2, you can't beat that. Up next is a very popular Karen Slaughter book I've been hearing about on BookTube. It's called The Good Daughter. I know I've heard that this one gets really, really, really dark, tortury, and so I'm really excited to give it a shot. I think this is going to be the first Karen Slaughter book I read. Also, I want to pick up Pretty Girls. I think that's the other one that I've heard is really dark, and see what I think about that. This is the one that I heard all the hype about. I paid $2 for this book at a library book sale. That's where I get a lot of my books. And I was screaming when I saw this. I was like, oh my god, I just added this to my wish list. So I'm really, really happy that I snagged it. Next, I have Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Also in almost perfect condition. I can't get over how I'm finding all of these really good quality books that I've been wanting to read for like less than $2. This one was also $2 at a thrift store. I just snatched it up. I was like, I gotta have it. I've heard Gone Girl's really good, and maybe when I'm done with it, I'll watch the movie and compare it because I've heard good and bad things about the movie. I can't wait to read it. I've never read anything by Gillian Flynn. I'm kind of new to trying new authors. I've usually just stuck to like the same things over and over, so I'm really excited to give this one a shot too. I have no idea what it's about. This one I got at a thrift store, and it's just kind of like a random buy. I bought it off the cover. I thought it looked really cool. I'm struggling. This one's called Skippy Dies, a novel by Paul Murray. I've never heard of this. I've never heard of the author, but I bought this based off the cover, honestly. It has some beautiful watercolor texture, and I just really loved it. And it's got this really pretty red on the back, and it's about a character named Skippy who ends up dying. I looked up a synopsis of it, and it seems interesting. I'm thinking it's going to be one of those either you love it or you hate it kind of books, but it's brand new. I think that someone probably just had it, never read it, donated it. Paid $2 for it. Next, I have The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I heard a lot about this one back in the day, but I never read it, and it's fairly thin. I've heard either you love it or you hate it with this one, and it was only $2, so I picked it up. Great condition. I'm gonna give it a shot, and then maybe I'll watch the movie afterwards per usual. I know it's about a girl who sees something happen while she's on a train. Some things happen, but that's about all I know. I didn't want to spoil it because I've got a feeling it's not gonna be a super in-depth one from the reviews I've read or watched on YouTube, but I'm gonna give it a shot and see what I think about it, and if I don't like it, I'll just donate it back. Next, I have another Karen Slaughter book that I picked up today, actually, at the book sale, called Indelible. I don't even know what that word means, I'll be honest, but it's got this interesting, like, old school looking lips over duct tape cover. Like, it looks like really 80s. 2004! Nowhere close, but I'm still really interested. I think it's also part of a series that she did, so I found this one for $2, picked it up, can't wait to read it along with all the others. I just don't know what order I'm going to read these in. I guess I'm going to look up later in the day which ones I should read first, and maybe I have the first one so I can actually start on these soon because I'm really excited and I've been gathering them and reading about them for a while. Next, I have another Karen Slaughter book, also in the same collection of like possibly a series, called A Faint Cold Fear, and it also has like a really 80s cover to me. When was this one made? This one is in 2003. Okay, that might be before that one in the series, if they're the same series, I don't know. But they're not the same size or the same height, so that's interesting. I like when books are the same size and height or have the same fonts. I like when there's like a consistency through an author. Yeah, this one has an interesting cover. I like it and I can't wait to read them. Next, I have another Karen Slaughter. This one's called Fractured, and I know it's part of that same series. This one was made in 2008, so this one's a little bit later. It might not be the third one, but I like the cover. It's very simple, very obvious of what kind of book it's going to be. Crime, thriller. I also have no idea what this one's about. I just know it's Karen Slaughter. Paid $2 for all of these, mostly. And I know you thought I had enough Karen Slaughter. Nope, this is the last one I have though. Promise, for now. It's called Triptych. I think this might be the first one. I don't know. I'll have to look it up, like I said. But I like the cover a lot. It has like this really cool triptych thing of, I guess, 3 different people. I think there's 2 men and a woman, if I'm not mistaken, on the front. And these little windows. I like the raised text. It's in great condition. Paid $2 for it today at the book sale, and originally this was like $25. So I'm really excited to read this eventually. It also has these really cool pictures or images for some of this. Well, there was a picture in here somewhere in the book. I don't know where it is. And it's interesting where all these books come from. Like, I have no idea where that was from, but it ended up in the library sale. And that's not nowhere near that, so I don't know. Books always find a way to find people, and I think it's interesting how you never know where they come from. And the last Lisa Gardner book I have is called Alone, and it has a very, very simple, almost ghost photo looking picture on the front. You can kind of see what's here, but it's very dark around it. And there's like a circle, kind of like a photo, I guess. Maybe they're taking a picture of this woman in her bedroom, and it's just kind of ghostly looking. I've never heard of this one. It's just Lisa Gardner. One day I'm gonna read it. I have no idea what this one's about though. And then the last 2 books I got are by Alice Sebold. I have listened to the audiobook of The Lovely Bones. I have a very interesting connection to this book, story, movie. When I was, I think 16, I think it was the year I turned 16, the movie came out, or maybe it was 18, I don't know. Anyways, it was a big birthday for me, and I wanted to go see a movie, and they said, well, what do you want to see? And at the time, there wasn't much out, and I kind of just picked a movie, not knowing what it was about, and I picked The Lovely Bones. And oh, how perfect that was for my personality. Like, I didn't know at the time, but that is me to a T. And I did see a movie version cover of this book in a thrift store for like 25 cents the other day, and I almost got it, and I kind of regretted not getting it, but I'm glad I waited because this is the cover I really wanted. I wanted the original hardcover because look how beautiful. Like, I've wanted this book for a long time. I've listened to the audiobook already. I've watched the movie a million times. I own the movie now. And I am going to read this a few times just because I enjoy the story. I love the way that she crafted the world that the girl went to when she died. But yeah, it's just a beautiful book and a beautiful story. And the author comes from a place of experience with these kinds of terrible things. So if you listen to the audiobook, she'll tell you her story. And it's very sad, very beautiful, and I think that her vision of what happens in this book is very eye-opening and very thought-provoking. And I highly recommend it if you've never read it before. I'm very excited that I can add this to my actual collection, and I already know I love it. And then I got her other book. I've never heard of this one. It's called The Almost Noon, and it looks very similar in its design. They look very pretty together. And I saw it just sitting next to this on the shelf, and I was like, ooh, I didn't know there was another one, so I picked it up, and it seems to be about a mother and daughter who have a bond that descends into murder, so that sounds interesting. I've never heard of it, but I can't wait to read it. It's a new one for me. Author of The Lovely Bones, very pretty, very interesting. But yeah, that's the last of my humongous book haul. I've got to calm down. I still have a few giveaways coming my way. I've been entering them like crazy on Instagram and Goodreads. I still have at least 3 coming, I think. I have at least 2 or 3, maybe just 2. But I can't wait to get those, and I'll be sure to add those to the next haul that I do whenever I do that. And I just want to thank you guys for watching. I've gotten a few new subscribers here, and I hope that you enjoy my channel. I am very excited that I'm on my new booktube journey. I'm having so much fun, and I'm loving watching other people's booktube videos. It's something that I've always been interested in, and I've always been reading, but I just never talked about it with people like I wanted to. And I've been reading a lot more regular books lately, and normally I would just read, you know, comics or manga mostly. That was mostly what I started with. So I'm still doing that, but I am reading a lot more books now. I have a nice little collection started, so hopefully I can calm down on the book buying and read them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed book hauls. Let me know what kinds of videos you'd like to see book-wise in the future. I don't mind doing tags or just like challenges or anything. I just don't have enough books to do most of the challenges that I've read about and looked up. Maybe in the future when I have like multiple bookshelves that I can look through. Right now I just have part of one shelf that I'm using. I probably have a little over 30 books that I haven't read. My husband has a few, but I don't count those for me. But I have a very small TBR shelf as of right now. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too coffee or gross. My throat's just been really dry. I apologize. Be sure to subscribe if you like my videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!